Hi guys, it's Belle here and it is Monday, which only means one thing here, Margarete Miller Collage Mondays. And there's one thing I need you guys to do for me. I really need you to keep saying, Belle, don't forget to add the prompts somewhere on your page, because I'm so used to not doing that I can already imagine that there are going to be instances during this year's challenge where I absolutely point blank forget. So let's get started. I have all my bits and pieces and some spare bits and pieces just in case. Let's get the page out. And this page somehow has black on it, and I don't know why. I think I had black texture paste on my board. And some of these got things. So obviously this one was last week's and I'm still not sure I like it, but we're moving on to this week's. And the prompts. Transportation. I have two things to represent this. I can only find one of them right now because of course that's the way life goes. Oh no, I definitely need to find the other one. So, oh, there it is. So I've got two stamps and I've got a train and this vintage car. It all makes sense. Sheet music, just have some vintage sheet music that's this gorgeous aged look. A drawing or sketch. So I have this left over from another Margarete Miller, and it's a drawing someone's done of something in a knitting magazine, I think it was. Favourite book or author? Well, prior collection. We'll get more into this. If you're new here, welcome to my obsession with Agatha Christie. And something that starts with R, we have this rainbow and a postage stamp. Well, obviously the transport on postage stamps, and I have other bits and pieces, and let's just get started. So as I said in my first video, which I will leave linked down below, but after that there is a playlist if you want to check those out. This year I'm merging some of my favourite things. One of those is going to be adding a photograph of some sort to every page, because this is also going to be memory keeping. So I'm just gonna fill the background with some music paper. That's what I'm going to do. I was thinking, shall we make it more complicated? And then I thought, why make it more complicated? We don't need to. So I'm going to fill it with this. Obviously, I'm covering up the green. But as I said in my first video, this journal, or the bits for what has become this journal, are left over from something from years and years ago that really I needed to either throw away or find a way to use. And these aren't my colours, so I really don't mind the fact that we could leave a green border though, couldn't we? I mean, we could do that. Oh, let's trim that down a little bit. And no, that's not going to be a border, so we're not going to do that. Rethink and don't do. Okay, let's just glue this music paper down. So yes, I was just wanting to use this up, or it had to be got rid of, and so I decided that it is very bright colours. Some of them, the colours and patterns, might work with future prompts. That is always a possibility, but if they don't, I don't care that I'm covering them, because in all honesty, it still gets this used out of my not used stash and into my made into something that makes me happier stash. So yeah, and that is all that actually matters. There is a little bit of a border, but I think that glue's now done. So let's just ink around this. A little bit of vintage music paper. Love my music paper. So today, the memory I'm sharing with you today, I'm trying to do it weekly, so it will normally be something that's happened in the week before the video goes up. And the memory I'm sharing with you guys today is this one. This is me, my partner, and two of our children, our two eldest children. And last Monday, we were taking my son back to university. And So basically where we live, my daughter lives an hour in one direction and my two boys live an hour in a different direction. And they live in the same town because they go to the same university, or did. My youngest graduated his master's. In fact, he's graduating this month. So and what was happening was my youngest was, so that means my daughter lives 2 hours away from her brothers. And so everyone normally comes to me when we're meeting up. But my youngest was going to go stay with my daughter for a few days up her way. So she was going to drive halfway-ish, not exactly, but sort of in an area where she could easily pick him up from. And we were also going to stop at the same place because my other son had something he wanted to pick up on the way to university. So this big shopping centre thing is kind of, or it's a shopping centre, you know, not big, but it's a shopping centre area where we were all kind of stopping. And it was really interesting because my son suddenly remembered that he had forgotten something quite important. Thankfully, he only remembered it 10 minutes from home. So we were easily able to, let's cut this out. We were easily able to turn back and go grab it. And my daughter got caught in traffic, and my youngest, who she was picking up, missed his train by a minute. So what happened was, we all knew we were going to this place at some point, but we thought we would miss her because she was meant to be picking up her younger brother a lot earlier. But between him missing his train and just by minutes, I mean, who knew that the train would actually be on time? So, and getting caught in the traffic. So we thought we're not going to see each other. And that's okay, but we literally pulled in, we walked in, and all of a sudden we heard, Mum, Dad, and we turned around and there was my daughter. And I was like, what are you doing here? This is literally us. We'd all just walked in. I was like, quick, go take a picture. Because yes, I'm that kind of person. And it's just funny because if it wasn't for the fact that she had got stuck in traffic and that my youngest had missed his train, then they would have been there earlier and would have already been gone. And if it wasn't for the fact that we had to turn back and then head back out, we wouldn't have literally walked in and through the same door, because it's quite a big shopping centre. It's got about 5 or 6 different places you can park and walk in. We wouldn't have walked into the same door literally 30 seconds apart. And so it was just one of those moments where we're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And how wonderful that we get to see each other. I'm wondering if this can pop behind there. I think that's where I'm going to put it. How wonderful that we can see each other so unexpectedly. Where are all the stamps? I keep losing those stamps. They are transport, so maybe they're like driving away. That we get this 20 minutes together, because then we obviously had to do what we needed to do, and she needed to do what she needed to do. And it was just so sad that it was my youngest son who obviously he missed out on seeing us all, and we missed out on seeing him. So that was sad, but also it was a joy just that we could all be together, really unexpected, because like I said, we don't live near each other in that way. So how unexpected was that, to be able to see each other? Yeah, it was just such a joy. So we spent like 20 minutes just catching up and see, because she was going away, or she will be going away, so I wouldn't have seen her until near the end of January when she would have got back, and then we'll all be meeting up at a different time. So last time I would have seen her was the end of the year, and then I would have seen her near the end of January. So how wonderfully unexpected that we could actually see each other and yeah, just get that wonderful time together. I kind of like that. We're just laying out. Yeah, that just, it made me smile. So obviously I had to take a picture of it. And we have the train on here because my youngest son missed his train. We have the car on here because we were driving my younger son to my other son to uni, and obviously my daughter got stuck in traffic. And we have the rainbow because when we started out driving, it was absolutely pouring with rain. But then as we just before we actually got to the place where we all bumped into each other, a rainbow came out. The rain stopped, the sun came out, and this beautiful rainbow appeared, which I did get a picture of, but I thought I'd use this rainbow instead. And so yeah, I just kind of love how that all came together. I was going to put some flowers on here, the yellow flowers. Let's see, because this is an Edith Holden scrap. So I just love it. I just love that that kind of happened and that it was so unexpected, and it just filled my heart with joy. And we all got that little time together. Because I like the yellow and the green picking up from the rainbow. I think that's what I'm liking. Yeah, I might do that. So let's take all this off and trim this down. So that's my memory for this week, and what I'm sharing. And then, so one of the prompts, that's not a prompt, that's the thing. One of the prompts was favourite book or author. Now, again, if you've been here any length of time, you will know I am a huge Agatha Christie fan. And in fact, she often creeps into my Margarete Millers. It's a great way to talk about books. And the first book that I finished this year was the first book in the Poirot series, which is The Mysterious Affair at Styles. And so not last year, but the year before, I was doing a reread. If you don't know, I've been an Agatha Christie fan since I was a teenager, and I have her complete works, and I am always rereading Agatha Christie or rewatching. It's a comfort thing for me. I just love murder mysteries anyway, but I love Agatha Christie in particular. Obviously, there's some problems with some of her books because she was writing in a different period. Thankfully, they've kind of, I want to say, the Agatha Christie Society has kind of made them a bit more palatable, but I have lots of the originals as well. And in 2023, I did a complete reread of all the Miss Marples, which meant that she was often appearing in my Margarete Millers for that particular year. I'm wondering if I want to cut some of this. Now, it's going to be a pocket, so I can't really cut a lot of it. But I'm wondering if I want to keep just a little scrap of it. Do you know what? It really doesn't matter, does it? Don't want to round it, though. Probably want to round it. So, yeah, she appeared quite a lot in a lot of my Margarete Millers, and I reread that. And then last year, I was meant to start my Poirot reread, but I just didn't get... I don't know. I felt like I needed a bit of a break after doing the Miss Marple, and I needed a tiny bit of a break from like a series like that. So I was just rereading, what's it called? I want to actually journal on the back of that, so I'm not going to cover that up. I was just rereading general Miss Marples, you know, like her short story, not Miss Marple, Agatha Christie, like her short stories, Parker Payne Investigates, The Mysterious Mr. Quinn, Tommy and Tuppence. I was kind of redoing all of that. I do want that only to go to there though. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to put just a little barrier just there, so that it doesn't get lost. It just keeps at an angle. And let's use this scrap here to do that with. So this year is when I'm starting my Poirot reread. There's a lot more Poirot books than there is Miss Marple, which I find interesting because he obviously was a favourite, a nation's favourite, and yet Agatha Christie actually really didn't like Poirot. Go figure. Create a character that you end up really not liking. But there we go. She didn't, and that's that. I want to also, just like I did on the last one, that's going to be about there. And this needs to poke out here. So let's then glue this bit just there. And here. And glue here. But I've always loved Poirot. I really have. I like the fact that he's fussy, and I like the fact that he's a little bit eccentric, and I'm very with him on the whole everything needs to be in its place. And I really like round 2 Poirot. So I love his relationship with Hastings. That's super fun. Now, because that's got a tuck in, I can only really glue this and that corner, but that's okay. Yeah, I loved Poirot, but my reread of Miss Marple the other year really made me love Miss Marple in a whole new way. I mean, I've always loved, look, I just love Agatha Christie's people. I wish there were more Parker Paynes. I wish there was more Tommy and Tuppence. Mr. Quinn's weird. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like I really enjoy the mysterious Mr. Quinn stories, but also that I also feel that he's kind of her attempt at the supernatural, maybe a little bit. I don't know. So anyway, my first read of 2025 was the first book in the Poirot, The Mysterious Affair at Styles, and it's such a good book, guys. If you haven't read it, first of all, if you haven't read Agatha Christie and like mysteries, like, what are you doing? Read Agatha. But if you haven't read it, there are so many like red herrings in that book. It's fabulous. And this is why we've got the cup on there, because the lady who dies, people think her cup of cocoa or her coffee, her tea had been poisoned. Was it poisoned? I'm not going to tell you. You'll have to read the book. I don't want to give spoilers. But I'm just saying that's what people think. So I wanted the tea on there. I love this. This was my calendar last year. Where is it? I've taken the cover off it now. But yeah, I had the Hercule Poirot 2024 calendar. The year before I'd had, funny enough, which I also have right here, the Miss Marple calendar the year before. They didn't bring one out this year. I mean, what are they doing? Why is there no? There are other Agatha Christie books that they could choose. So yeah, so I thought this was quite good because it's 2 memories. Actually, it's, well, yeah, it's 3 memories. It's taking my son back to university. You know, we saw the rainbow. We had the road trip. It's the random meetup that we really did not expect. And then it's the first book of 2024 completed. I really love these covers. I really do. But the problem is I have a complete collection of Agatha Christie's that I've now had for, oh gosh, how long have I had them? 25 years, maybe? Maybe even longer than that. Sorry for that. It was just easier to do it that way. So I don't really want to replace them. And whilst I sometimes have copies of my favourite books, like I have about 5 copies of Frankenstein, I don't tend to then have complete collection copies. And obviously my original ones, which aren't that pretty, they... do I want that in a brighter colour? They are sentimental. They have sentimental value. They have sentimental what's the word? Value? Yeah, you know what I mean. So that means that realistically, I can't really. Yeah, I'm glad I left that up because I do want to put that under there because it does say treasure time spent together. Especially unexpected time. Isn't that the best? When you just see someone and you're like, oh, this is so wonderful. And yeah, so that's just so wonderful. And also I wanted to do the photo in black and white because it gives me that vintage feel. And there's a lot of kind of, this is a vintage piece, this is vintage, that's vintage, this is vintage. There's a lot of pieces on here. This is an Anna Griffin cup, which has a vintage feel to it. And I deliberately chose trains and cars on these stamps that I thought, yeah, that would be kind of just right for Praro, for his time period. That's what I'm thinking. I was going to put them together, but do I like them more like that? Is it too much? Both of them up here. And I wanted the train and the car going in opposite directions because we were going in opposite directions. We were driving one way and they were going the other. Funny enough, like I said, my younger son was actually leaving from the place him and his brother both live, and we were going to that place. Do I like them more like that? I feel like I do. That's too much yellow, I feel. Maybe? Or do I like it with more of the yellow? And we have the green up here that kind of goes with the green here. Let's just put them this way once more. I mean, I think they both work, but for some reason I like the car going that way. So yes, it was just lovely. There's lots of memories. I loved seeing the rainbow. I did actually put it in my story on my Instagram. So if you do like reading books, I have a book Instagram. I always leave it linked down below. And I sometimes share. I'm trying to share more this year and put more in my stories. So obviously stories only last 24 hours. But yeah, I put about I showed the rainbow in that, so check that out if you're interested and if you enjoy stories. I'm wondering if I want a little bit of maybe pink or yellow around this, maybe the because we've got the pink here as well. Oh my gosh, this is always so stressful because I don't want to overdo it, and half the time I don't know if these let's just do it on here. No, we've got our sheet. That'll do. Just a little bit around the outside. So, yeah, check that out if you're interested in seeing what I'm reading. I've only completed 2 books so far this year. And I think that's because I've been reading a particular book, but I've not been enjoying it. And really, I should have DNF'd it. I should have stopped it. It's an audiobook and it was over 10 hours long. And by the time I was halfway through, I was just like, do you know what? I'm halfway through. Let's just keep going. But I think it's going to put me on a reading slump. I only have 2 hours of it left. And I'm still debating whether I just stop reading it with 2 hours to go because I'm not enjoying it and it is putting me in a bit of a slump. So I've only finished the 2 books so far this year. And that really shouldn't have taken me that long. Oh, I really love that. And happiness for me is a cup of tea. So there's a lot on here. But yes, love it. Now, I'm much happier with this page than I was the first page, but I know that was going to happen. I knew that it takes me a while to get into this, to a challenge, and especially working on a different size. But what I do appreciate is on this larger size, because I was really like, I don't know. I've loved working on the index cards so much, but on this larger size, it does mean I can put photographs. So there is that. But yeah, the cup of tea there is linked to the Mysterious Affair at Styles. We have the books and everything else. So do I want to add anything else to any of this? I don't think I do. I think it's good as is. I think I like it. So let's have a look. We have transportation. We have a train and a car. We have sheet music in the background, a drawing or a sketch. We have this one under here. And we also have the Edith Holden in the background. Favourite book or author, Poirot, Agatha Christie. It's not my favourite book. It's not my favourite Agatha Christie book. It's not even my favourite Poirot book, but it is the first book I finished of 2025. Something that starts with R. We have a rainbow and a postage stamp. We've got 2 of them, and we added a few more things on there, and I remembered to add my prompts. So that is this week's done, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. Like I said, I definitely enjoyed this more than I enjoyed the first one, although the memory of the first one's still very nice, but it just looks a bit chaotic. I like this one. I'm wondering actually if I should just give this a bit of inking as well, just to dull down that white. I should have inked that edge if I'd thought about it, but I didn't. And this pattern on here is now making me think of the Mysterious Mr. Quinn. Again, if you haven't read any of those stories, I recommend them. So that is week 2, guys. I really love it. I love how it's come together. I love the fact that I'm including memories and yeah, just unexpected moments of joy. So thank you so much for watching. Please do check out my playlist. This is the 4th year I would have done this challenge, so there's plenty for you to check out if you are enjoying this. And yeah, as always, please do like, subscribe, share and comment down below. Let me know if you want to share what was your favourite thing that happened last week. What was your favourite memory that just brought you joy? It could be something as simple as you went for a walk and saw a particular thing, or maybe it was a song you heard. I would really love to know that. And until next time, guys, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having lots and lots of joy and crafty fun. Bye for now.